Hi, this is Zach Meir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 26th of July. Starting off with the S&P, which is still up and away after that gap, unfilled gap to the upside earlier this month. Very strong signal. We had a slight scare that there was bearish divergence in place, so there were higher highs rather for the end of July, but not a higher RSI trace. But so far we seem to have got out of that one. The support levels of late towards 45.20, below that 44.60, but not expecting more than that in terms of a pullback on the upside. The rather mythical target we've been looking for quite some time, since the index was around 4,300, is 47.20 at the upper parallel of the November rising trend channel, and we're looking for that by the end of next month. On to the stocks, and few new names actually, so maybe that's a sign of some kind. American National Bank shares, amazing move here through the old resistance from February, so that was around the $36.80 level. Above that, looking for the market to head to the top of that rising trend channel from the beginning of the year, as high as $41.50, and hopefully we'll see that by the end of next month. But the key here is really holding above that the $36 zone. Moving on to a stock which has been featured here many times in the recent past, Applied Digital. It's got the right name at least. Broadening triangle bull flag in place here, but it looks as though hopefully on this occasion, after several attempts to consolidate or to break through the $11 to $12 band, this could be the time that it does it, at least while we're above $9, yesterday's support. Looking for up to $13 over the next couple of weeks. Now, RSI breakout as well, so that is quite encouraging after the consolidation that we've seen over the recent past. Moving on to another hopeful winner. Here it comes in the form of Bullfrog, and here, after the rather painful double top that we had in the spring, we managed to gap massively through the 50-day moving average at $4.20. Above that, looking for obviously the resistance on the way down around $6, but maybe if you're a fan of the shares, you could justifiably be looking for $9.50 on a 2 to 3 month view, especially if there's no end of day close back below the 50-day line in the meantime, after that, as I said, that massive bear trap gap reversal. On to a new name which is coming up, and here we can see that Gelecto is doing its business for the bulls. Rising trend channel there since November. Top of the channel they're heading for $3.80. Hopefully we'll see that by the end of next month, especially while we remain above the $2.70 area, which was the recent resistance in July for the shares. Both the 50 and 200-day lines rising there, so that is an encouraging development over and above the golden cross that we had back in February. Moving on to one of the regulars here, IonQ, and here we can see that the market inching its way towards the sort of the final target that we've got on our plate at the moment, up to as high as $20. That could be seen by the end of next month, while we remain above the recent support area. Probably the best area there, probably $14.20 as a stop loss on the potential move to the upside, but obviously this has been a chart which has been difficult to get in the way of. Moving on to a name which is not so familiar, we've got Kiniska Pharmaceuticals, and here unfilled gap to the upside, a classic move here. We had a golden cross back in June, and we pushed through the June resistance, $16, call it $16.75. Above that, looking for the top of that rising trend channel from back in March, as high as $22 by the end of next month. On to Loop, which is featured here quite a lot. Here, not quite a dramatic a picture, but it just looks as though after the recent pullback from multiple failures near $3.70, we're back at the floor of the rising trend channel from November and bounced off that at around the 265 area. Above that, looking for a return to as high as $4, or a move to as high as $4.20 over the next 4 to 6 weeks. If you're cautious, you wait for an end of day close back above the 50-day moving average around $3.10 before assuming that we'll successfully get through the 370 barrier. A nice situation coming up now, which covered last week, Marker Therapeutics, and here First target hit at around $5.80. Second one coming up at $9.70, and we can upgrade the stock to the next target, maybe up to $12 by the end of next month. I think that's probably a decent thing to do. Upside value while we hold above 750, which is basically just below yesterday's support, but looks as though there's still some momentum there at marker. Nice setup coming up now for the next stock, which is Markforged Holding Corporation. Unfilled gap to the upside through resistance. Floor of the gap there around $1.70, and above that we're looking for the top of that rising trend channel from November as high as $2.70, which would take the shares back to where they had a peak last year around that level in September. Moving on to a recent favorite, which has appeared here I think 3 or 4 times now, Pagaya Technologies. Here, rather painful looking chart, obviously, if you look at the last summer's situation, but it does look as though the shares are slowly trying to regroup within a rising trend channel from back in November. Top of that channel currently pointing at $2.70, which would hopefully hit by the end of next month while we remain above the $1.80 area. On to the last two, and the first one is a new one, Rigetti Computing. And here we've had a decent breakout test of old resistance around $1.60, and above that looking for as high as $3.70 by the end of next month. Nice turnaround there, nice consolidation above the 50 and 200-day moving averages. Finishing off with one of the best stocks of the recent past by some distance, Upstart Holdings. Here, near vertical move. We've had our targets on along the way, $40, around the $40 mark, around 50, and now we're looking at 72 by the end of next month. The ideal scenario is actually that we get up to the top of that gap down that we had back in the summer of last year, as high as $78, maybe going into the start of the autumn, or as the Americans say, the fall. But at least while we're above the $55 area, recent support, it looks as though the shares are still in a very strong U-shaped reversal. That's it from me today. More updates